Namaste, dear respected audience. As usual, I'm here with our weekly program, Talk with Home. Today I brought new personality. She is a respected lady with 20 years of experience as a gender and social inclusion specialist. She got involved in UN South Asia, USAID projects, European Commission projects for underdeveloped countries. She got master's degree from Tribune University in Sociology and Gender and M&E from the Netherlands, Women Human Rights from Bangalore, India, and Women Peace and Security from the USA. Let me welcome Mrs. Kopila Rijal. Namaste, welcome to my program, ma'am.
Namaste, thank you so much.
How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine. It is a great honor to meet you and show my expertise in your channel.
My pleasure. Thank you. Okay, ma'am, what really moved you to take up this career?
Thank you so much. First, I'm from the rural woman. I'm a rural woman. I belong from the eastern part of rural Nepal. Pastor districts, my birthplaces. I influence for the community women, their needs, their problems, and especially I focus my career in gender and development issues, in violence against women and children issues, women peace and security issues. Because of that, women influence me and encourage me to work for them who are poor, who are vulnerable, who are socially excluded, who face the violence each day in their life, like domestic violence, who face the rape in the community, who believe in the chowpadi systems, who believe in the social norms, values, customs and tradition that made them very vulnerable and excluded. So I feel that I have to move my career in this field.
How much satisfaction do you get while doing something for very underprivileged women and children?
I always feel proud that I contributed 70% of my life for the rural women, especially for the poor, vulnerable and socially excluded women, not only in the rural part of Nepal. I spent a lot of time rural part of the India, rural part of the Bangladesh and rural part of the Afghanistan and other South Asian countries and Middle East countries like Muslim countries, like other underdeveloped countries. So I feel lucky, and being a woman and especially being a rural woman of this country, I always feel proud that I contributed myself for the upliftment of such kinds of women, children and excluded population who really need the empowerment, who really need the access of their rights and who really need to live their identified life and who really need to adjust the women human rights agenda and their agenda in the national level and international level platform also. So I'm trying to reach out to implement the SHIDA Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discriminations and against women and children who ratified by the underdeveloped countries like Nepal. Then I'm trying to localize those kinds of international conventions and governance in the rural part of the country to link up with the local government, to link up with the province government, to link up with the community women's, mothers groups, single women groups, community forest users group like that. That's my motivation to encourage me every day to face the challenges in each sectors and to try to influence the rural women to intervene of the policies, programs and their economic upliftment too.
Would you recall the first day, your first experience, that is first day of the beginning of your career?
Yeah, when I was doing internship with UN system, I used to travel in the brothels area of the India. Yeah, then cross-border part of the Nepal and India in the no man's land area. Which, I was working for the women human trafficking issues at that I was doing internship at that time. Then I faced a lot of challenges and I rescues repatriation of the women. I work with the sex worker alliances who already sold in the brothels and all. Then I established the sex worker alliances in the South Asia. At that time, what I feel that I'm also a woman and they are also a woman. But why differentiation between them and me? So I'm trying to make them, I'm trying to mainstreaming them to adjust their issues in the policy program, laws, legislation, international instrument, like that. That's my influential challenges that motivated me also.
That might
then I made fed up at that time when I work with the brothel women, when I work in the cross-border area in the rescue and repatriations mechanism. At that time, I faced very challenges. I did not sleep every night. Then even I kidnapped in the Maoist insurgency time from the brothels area. From the border area.
You were kidnapped?
Yeah, from the border area. At that time.
By whom?
In the insurgency time by the Maoist.
Maoist side.
Yeah. Then what I found is that being a woman, facing the challenges.
For what reason? You were doing only the best things over there in no man's land.
It's a political insurgency time, so it's not the blaming factors of anybody. It's the political insurgency time, and as you know, the political insurgency time, whatever can be happen at the time.
You might have become emotional.
Yeah, I felt very emotional. I have some kinds of psychological problem at that time. I need some kinds of counseling when I work in the brothels area, or when I work in the cross-border area, in the rescues and repatriations. Then, especially when I kidnapped in the insurgency time, then I need some kinds of counseling.
For how many days you were taken as hostage?
It's 10-15 days.
Who released you?
From the Nepal security.
Okay, ma'am. Do you think enough support and motivations have been provided for the betterment of empowerment of Nepalese women here by all the stakeholders and on behalf of the government?
Yeah. So after the peace process, especially we have to link up the women empowerment agenda and women peace and security agenda with the peace process. After the peace process, there are lots of changing mechanisms and there are lots of policy programs made for the women, children and vulnerable population especially. But there are more than 32 laws and policies already developed by the Nepal government, and even constitution had also declare the 32% representations of women in all sectors.
A kind of reservation.
A kind of reservation. We have a Gender Equality Act. Then we have already amendment the Gender Equality Act. We have a Sexual Violence Act. We have a Human Trafficking Act. We have a Safe Migration Act. Lots of acts, and we have already ratified the CEDAW. We are the member of the UPR. We are the member of the UN strengthening body. Then we can go in the global movement then we can take up our women human rights agenda. But we have lots of policy program interventions levels. Then we have lots of budget and programmings in the province level and local government level also. After the establishment of local government and after the establishment of the province government, we directly implement the UNHCR resolution 1325, 1820 SDG Sustainable Development Goal. Then we set the kinds of mechanism in the community level, province government level, national level, as well as we can take our women human rights agenda in international level, because I'm dealing for the global movement also for the betterment of the women. So we have lots of things, but the challenging mechanism we can say in the implementations level. The implementations is very lack. First 5 years local government, they have provided lots of opportunity for the upcoming local government, because we are in the election scenario now.
Yeah.
Then 5 years federal government and 5 years last budget provided us lots of opportunity for the upcoming 5 years. Then 5 years province government experiences have been provided us lots of opportunity for the upcoming 5 years province government. But looking at the economic scenario of this country and looking at the international relation, we have to tie up the international relations and development aid in this scenario, because we are the underdeveloped countries.
Yeah, really.
We have to depend with India and China. We are middle of the India and China. Without dependency, so what is our dependency ratio and what is our economic upliftment ratio for the gender and inclusion issues? We need the equilibrium point to upliftment of the women, children and vulnerable population from the economy. So now I want to back in the policy interventions level that we need a strong economic policy now, which we should implement in the local part, like tie up with the local government. Then we need some kinds of governance, some kinds of understanding, and some kinds of memorandum of understanding with development aid and development partners to implement of the women, children, and vulnerable population. And same thing. Violence is happening day by day, then increasing day by day also. So for violence part also we need the strong implementation mechanisms of the policy.
What about domestic violence? And I think most of the time domestic violence is focused on women, but nowadays this issue has changed a lot. Now men have also been targeted for the violence. Now men are also being assaulted in domestic surroundings, environment. How do you support this idea?
Yeah, especially looking of the progressive way of the underdeveloped country in the gender and social inclusion issues, then especially for the women human rights issue, we should tie up with the violence issues. Violence is the key component. Without working for the violence and without implement any kinds of thing and without policy, we cannot reduce the violence. But looking at the increasing way of the violence in Nepal, not only Nepal, in South Asia and Middle East also, especially in the underdeveloped country, what we found is that we need the prevention and protection mechanism strongly. Then after that, we need the reintegrations mechanisms as well, because in preventive model there are two models. If the violence is going in increasing way, that will be also a part of the empowerment, because women want to expose their domestic violence because of our work in the community. We influence the women's group, we influence the children's group, we influence the schools teachers, we influence the community interventions group, we influence the concerned stakeholder who are working for the violence, one thing. And second thing, the exposing part of the violence is women also empower themselves because of our advocacy, because of the government mandate, because of the legislative provisions in the local levels and the province government level in the context of Nepal.
But what I'm saying is that males are also made victims.
I want to tie up the safe migrations mechanisms, violence part here, because especially men are violated at that time if we raise the issues of migration. Most of the most of the youth populations migrant these days in Gulf country in Nepal. No? So women are alone in the home, and their children are alone in the home, and men is working in the abroad in the Gulf as a third grade human resource. You know. Then what is the memorandum understanding between sending and receiving country is that if your son is a first grade engineer from the country, but he is receiving the salary in Gulf country like a third grade human resource. That's the backdrop of the memorandum of understanding from the government side. In another part, that woman, his wife and his children also become vulnerable from their relatives, from their other friends, and from their man also. And another part, in the name of the violence, that migrant's boy also become violated because his wife maybe the extramarital affair, or his wife or some person want to make violated to her, want to make blackmail to her, and take her all properties that's sent by her husband. That's the part men can become violent. But in somehow men are also become the violence from that way, but most of the part female are violated rather than the men.
As a woman, while working in a team with males, have you ever felt any kind of differentiation, discriminations? And I've heard that even for the same post, same responsibilities, the salaries will be made different. Yes.
It's a very genuine question.
Yeah.
For the underdeveloped country,
Yeah.
I face lots of time, but not in the name of salary. In the name of the team, I face as a team leader. If I'm a team leader, I'm working for the 9 countries, and then I'm a team leader. Then the same kinds of professional men also try to dominate me. But my experience.
That is gender ego.
Yeah, it's a general ego.
Yes.
Even it's a patriarchal. I want to say it's a patriarchal thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
Male dominant society.
In midnight, sometimes we have a meeting. Just frankly, I want to tell. Sometimes we have a meeting around 1 a.m. Nepal time. Then we have to sit with New York. New York office or DC office or some other global part of the country. At that time, I'm a woman. I have a children. My daughter used to sleep around 9 p.m. In the evening because we have a morning school. Nice. Then after 10, I used to sit in the meeting online meeting with him. But there is a man who already finished his morning walk, who already finished his breakfast, and if he want to compromise me, he had to call me at his evening time and my morning office time.
Your convenient time.
In my convenient, if he's a gender friend.
Yeah, social responsibilities at home as well.
Yeah.
As a mother.
As a mother, I have children.
A holy mother.
As a wife, maybe being an Asian woman, as a wife, maybe I have a responsibility for my husband. I have a responsibility for my in-laws.
Yes.
At morning, I have a responsibility to worship my puja room at morning.
Sure.
So such kinds of discrimination we used to face.
Would you tell our audience, basically women, how to protect themselves? How to stand up for their rights without any fears, please?
Be bold for change.
Yeah.
Be positive always. Men are also your friend, but try to deal with them positively.
Positively, yeah.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to expose your violence in your social life, and don't hesitate to do your duty for your family, for your children, and for your social atmosphere, but don't lose your identity being a woman. And in the name of success, don't give up your hope, and don't take the different way that in the name of success that maybe make you many kinds of failureness, and that you may face many kinds of failure in such kinds of success. So be bold for change, don't leave your hope, and make a good man friend in your social life. Nobody touch you in your, then nobody see you in the bad eyes. If somebody see you in the bad eyes, try to show your good eyes to them first and take action as a good philosophy and good human beings.
I think every woman is God gifted this quality. She knows the meaning of the look of a male, the meaning of the very touch of a male. Is it true?
I don't think so.
She can define whether the look is good or evil.
I don't think so. My beautiness is for me. My red tikka is for my beautiness and my smartness. My lipstick is for my beauty.
Psychologically, a woman can understand, I think, the difference between good and evil look and touch.
We have to define for the two things. One, biological matter of the differences between men and women, and one, social matter of the differences between men and women, especially in the Asia. Then being an Asian woman, if being an Asian woman and being a married woman, if I wear pote, tikka and sari, that's for my beautiness, that's for my husband. But Hindu religion define different thing for the sindur, pote and tikka. That's symbol of manism, not a husband, manism. I want to say in easy word, symbol of manism. But what I want to define is that respect your culture, respect your religion, whatever you are from, in whose religions you are from, no matter on that. While I was working in Afghanistan, I used to wear the burqa.
Burqa, yes.
Then my beautiness saw in my nails and legs because nobody can see in my face.
Yeah.
When I'm working in Nepal, India, Bangladesh, other parts, I used to wear the kuta shural. Then my beautiness see in the face and somewhere. But as a woman and as a working woman, biologically, people define differently for the man and woman. But socially, I want to define myself as my beautiness is for me. If some men want to see my beautiness and want to be happy, that's maybe inside my home or that may be inside my room, but that's not for the outside of the world.
Nowadays, this is very fashionable word, honey trap, this phrase, right? And many males are made victims by some very tricky women. One is, another is divorce case. Many women are just using this as a weapon to make a first to put someone into honey trap, get married, and after some months and years, what happened? Filing the divorce case for the property, a half of the property. Don't you think this is really very, very bitter parts of the society nowadays, modern society?
Yeah, it's a very critical issues these days in South Asia, not only in Nepal. So, what I want to tell in this...
In Europe and America also, I think.
Yeah, it's horrible in Asia.
That you call gold diggers. Gold diggers.
Yeah. So, what I found is that in Europe, especially last I was in Brussels, what I found is that European Commission developed one kind of mandate for the honey trappers and all. Then they try to intervene that mechanisms to some of the issue countries. The experience, what we found is that cybercrime, strong legislative mechanisms and its burning issues of the violence. We should also have a strong legislative mechanism for the men, especially for the honey trapper and all. Regarding your queries on the divorce cases, yeah, there are two parts. One is in the name of the employment. Some of the people take some woman as a registered marriage and all, then they get registered, then after some month they got divorced, especially in the Europe case and Australia case also, and some student also take such kinds of way. So what I want to tell in this stage is this is very burning issues. Then it's a critical issues also for the men and women in somehow also. So we need to develop strong mechanisms in tie-up with security sectors and in tie-up with other stakeholders. I cannot say anything in this stage for this.
Let's talk very openly on one another issue, that is sometimes some males are just accused of being impotent, right? And not being able to have that sexual relationship. But in fact, the doctors say that some women are also impotent, mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Do you agree or not? But males are never found just filing the case against their bed halves for that reason.
Yeah, these cases are burning cases also in the country. It's burning cases. Some cases we found when I have done some of the study with some of the violence agencies, that what found men are also file the cases for the divorce and all. In more than 5% male file the divorce cases and they are victims also. But what kinds of victims they are facing, they cannot expose themselves. And they have some kinds of psychological problem, depressions, alcoholic and all. So we should think two-way. But if we are thinking about the woman 80%, then definitely we have to think for the men rise in 20% in the ratio.
Okay, ma'am. In the society, we better know the win-win situation, win-win policy everywhere. In politics also, society, everywhere, in every sector. And around the globe, don't you think that only women are given more privilege and rights?
These days.
These days, yes.
I'm also a woman human rights defender in the global arena. not only the country. I'm working in the global arena as a woman human rights defender. So I have to receive different kinds of experience with different country. I want to say one example from the Germany.
Yeah.
Most of the male couple want to stay in the living together relationship rather to got married,
Yes.
and all, because of the property rights.
I think this one is to be adopted in our society as well.
Just I want to tell my example, just my example. Maybe that's not true.
Yeah.
Being an Asian woman, I'm married with someone.
Yeah.
No? If I'm not happy with him, I'm a capable woman, I can move forward with him. That's my rights. Yeah, we are not happy. Let's compromise ourselves. Let's stay separately.
Let's say goodbye.
Let's say goodbye. I respect you while I was with you. Then please respect me when I will not with you. But I want to take my children as a mother.
I really respect your this saying.
Yeah.
I respect you, in return you respect
Just
me.
I'm sharing you example.
I respect such a woman with intelligence, intellectuality.
But I want to tell another one bad incident. I'm an Asian woman.
Yeah.
I'm an uneducated woman. I don't have parents in, means my parents passed away.
Things will be different there.
Things will be different there. Definitely. Such woman got the violence from his husband. Then she can claim.
She has to go through lot more compromises.
Compromise it. So let's categorize the woman. Let's categorize the country, let's categorize the people, let's categorize the main system, let's categorize the cultural norms, value, custom, traditions, and superstitions mechanism for the woman also. Then let's define the divorce.
Mrs. Rijal, thank you very much for your presence here. But before we say goodbye to our dear respected audience, would you just give in brief few positive vibes to the youths?
Yeah, youth are a role model. Youth should be a role model. Youth can make many changes in country, in global, in especially in community. So youth mobilization is the key component we have to enhance in each sector, not only the development sector, not only the policy sector, in every and each sector. So let's think for the youth, but I want to suggest youth, don't go fast. In my younger age, I was working with brothels women. In my younger age, I was working in the cross-border no man's land area of the Nepal, India and Bangladesh. In my youth age, I got married. In my youth age, I have done lots of struggle in the community, but the achievement that I'm working in the global arena. So be positive, be patient, develop your quality first rather to go in the quick way. And especially I want to suggest the youth women who are very energetic, who are very talented, and who are such trying to doing and motivating people from their hearts. So let's go slowly, let's be patient, and let's keep and show your eyes directly to such eyes who can revolute, who can make the revolution for the youth woman agenda in the global, in the community, and in such kinds of youth women who don't have education, who are facing child marriage, who are facing violence, who are facing poverty, and who really need their upliftments from the community. So let's work for them first, rather to show our voice and rather to show our advocacy in the global agenda.
All right. Thank you very much for being with us. Though you are a very busy person, you have managed your time. I thank you once again. In future, hope to see you again. Till then, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and give the opportunity to share my experience, expertise, and my failure stories and success story, definitely that motivate others women human rights defenders in the global and the community. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Dear respected audience, thank you for being with us with much patience. I hope you will enjoy the next personality in my talk show, Talk with Home, next time. Till then, goodbye, namaste.